Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your April 2019 Lenormand reading. I'm Jade with Yes Yes Yes. Welcome back to the channel. How you doing? Hope everything's going well for you. I'm going to do this spread a little differently, and if you're new to the channel, let me explain. We're going to use the Gilded Reverie Lenormand. And I'm going to do the Grand Tableau, which is laying out all 36 cards. And what I'm going to do is read them from the 4 general areas, because this is our general reading for the month. So I'm going to look at health, wealth, your job, and the love life. So we'll look at all of them. I'll look at everything in terms of all of you versus separating it from masculine and feminine, because I want to make it clear and concise. All right, this is where it begins. And if you are interested in having your own personal reading, what I would do is I would replicate this reading. We'll look at it in depth, and then I would do your own specific reading, your own individual reading. Because this type of spread can get really specific, and it's just doing it generally can get very confusing. So I just want to make sure that everybody is getting all of the information that's best for them. Somehow my camera is at a strange angle, so let me get this settled. Figure this out. Okay. I'm just going to go with it. I'm laying out all of the cards, and then we'll look at how it's all falling, how it all comes together. So what's going on this month? In April, we've got Mercury is direct. Great. So communication is starting to come back online. Relationships are starting to have a new presence versus like revisiting old issues or being triggered by old stuff or old lovers coming back, because that is always something that does happen. And let's see what else is coming on. We're fully into Uranus in Taurus, and Chiron is in Aries. So we still have a lot of triggering in both the beginning of the zodiac, and then we have this, this Pluto-Saturn convergence that's coming in Capricorn. So you might feel a lot of pressure in any of those signs, wherever they are in your houses. And the question is, what pressure is coming up for you? It's going to depend on where those signs fall in your personal chart, and that is based on your ascendant. There's a little astrological lesson. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that. If you are resonating or like this video, please press that thumbs up button. Feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you here in the community. And yeah, let me know how it goes. So this is what the first thing I need to do is check and see if anything is in its own house. So just give me a moment to count out. Okay, so we have the birds in their own house. So the flavor, the underlying energy that's being brought up here, and if you had a specific question, what the birds here are saying is for us to get a greater perspective, to draw out and look at it from a bird's eye view. So whatever issues that might be unclear for you currently, what you're being urged to do is to look at it from a different perspective, and to look at it maybe from not being a personal perspective, but an overall, a greater perspective, if that makes sense. Also, there's going to be some spiritual messages that can come through for you specifically this month. So do be open to that. It's not your ego, it's not your other personality talking to you, it is spirit talking to you. Okay, so for Aquarius, what's going on for you right now? I see that emotionally you might be feeling really settled and connected to your home life, and maybe even your children, or perhaps you have a new home life or a new way of living. If you just made a move, or if you have some kind of change that's been, this could just be spring cleaning too, but I'm feeling like that's where you're emotionally feeling good right now, is that there's some stability in the home life, or even stability in your physical body. Maybe that's been a challenge for you. Now, further on, there might be just a little bit of nervousness. It might have to do with taxes or the government, or even just your landlord, something that's greater. Maybe you rent from a consortium, a rental property group. So there might just have to be some readjusting, or something might pop up in the near future where it just has to get calmed down. That's really all. I'm not seeing anything horrible. Nothing's coming to an end necessarily, or you're having to force a move, but everything's looking pretty good emotionally. You're emotional, and your that side of you is being satisfied right now. As far as your assertive and action-oriented side, what I'm seeing is that you actually are also feeling quite stable, and you might be feeling stable financially. We've got 2 financial cards that are kind of sitting over your head. Maybe you're thinking about finances currently, and you're trying to make them stable. There might have been a change that came up. Maybe you had a job change. Maybe you had we were talking about a physical move. Maybe you moved for a job, and it happened quite quickly, so you're just thinking about when things are going to settle out. This is a new commitment for you, and it is something that you might have been thinking about for some time, wanting to make a career change, or wanting to be a manager versus whatever your new job is, or this new role is. It's something that you've been wanting for a while. The opportunity came quite quickly. And I think even, there's an interesting card here. This fox is a card of cunning and, what's the other word for it? Innovation. So you might have been brought to the forefront, your bosses or your authority, whoever's over you, might have noticed that you go about doing things a little bit differently than normal. It could have been because you looked at something was presented at work, and you saw that it was actually not presented correctly, and so you revised it, and then this gave you a little bump up. You got a promotion, you got some more money, and there might have been a quick change because of all that. That's a very specific story. But what I'm seeing right now is that you're really considering finances, and your finances are closely tied in with this authority figure. So, if this is not a work situation, this could actually be with your family. And we could be talking about an inheritance, something along those lines, where money is directly connected to the family, either mother or father, someone who's in an authoritative role over you. The other thing is that this could mean that you are just really, we talked about it, that you're thinking about money. Maybe you're thinking about money a little too much. Maybe you're just ruled by it, that money is the authority over you currently, and that is what you have really made a commitment to. So just be aware of that too, because you always want to maintain balance. There's nothing wrong with having goals in life and really wanting to move towards, earning lots of money, or having the perfect relationship, or whatever the relationship that serves you best, but keeping it real and also keeping it balanced is really important in life, because none of those things are the most important. There's no such thing as a most important thing. It's the journey and the process and the heart space that is opened in your life that is the most important thing, in my opinion. So what I'm really seeing, what's really connected there, is that there's some type of, it might be a family inheritance or a will or something like that is really what seems to be most evident, at least in this spread. And it's, it seems that there's been a lot of love and a lot of deep connection there in your family. And maybe this is even a in-law, right? This could be that you married into a family that had a lot of money, and now they're adding you into the will, or you've earned the ranking to be included. And this may not be just the family; it might be just your husband or your wife too. So There's lots of that. I'm saying that because I'm seeing the ring and the heart all on the same line, but we'll talk about that when we get to the love stuff. So that's the general of what's going on. Let's talk about where your health's at. Right now, your health, you might have had maybe some hospitalization in the past, and that there was some anxiety. Maybe there was some anxiety that you had to deal with by going to the doctor about. This just seems to be head stuff, right? Just not physical stuff, but more head stuff. And it's really, you're really working on trying to get emotionally solid and to feel good in the heart space as well. I know I mentioned that before. Interesting. This might be a long-term situation that you've been dealing with. This, if it's headspace, maybe it's moderate anxiety. It's something that might have been here for a while, is what I'm saying, and that you might have recently just gone out to try to adjust. Maybe you've been dealing with it and have been on medication for a while, and you've just tried to adjust your meds. Maybe you're looking at it as you want to go holistic or naturopathic route, so you want to adjust and go in a more natural route versus using Western med. But there's been some kind of connection to that. If you didn't go out and get help or seek someone else's advice, what it is just realizing this is what's going on in my head. Maybe you're separating yourself from this anxiety and from this nervous tension to move into a place where you feel more connected, more resolved, and more aligned with your intuition. And it's interesting because the mice are our nervous card, and the moon is about intuition. It's also about seeing things clearly. And it resolves in about a month. When I see that card, it's a time stamp. So what might be actually happening here is that this is your journey from going from head to heart, being able to trust. And the voices, the inkling, the feelings that we get, whatever way that you receive guidance from spirit or source or whatever you want to call it, you're learning. I feel like you're really flexing your muscles and building your connection to spirit and to source, so that you can be guided and hear that voice or feel that feeling even stronger, get really clear on it. And I feel like that's what's going to bring some great transformation for you. Okay, so even if we're talking about head stuff, and that's what's really interesting, is that health can be about a mental state. It can be about a physical state as well. So there's lots of choices, lots of possibilities there. But I feel like it's something that you're aware of, that you're really working towards resolving based on that connection to your intuition. So great job there, Aquarius. Okay, we talked a little bit about your finances and your work. It's all your work and finances are all kind of connected here. And I do like that you're considering these finances. These are what is kind of in your mind, and your ingenuity is getting you there. There is this ring card can be this commitment, right? So there could be, like I was saying, you might have to sign your contract, make a new contract for work. Maybe there's a change at work that's just happened, and so things are kind of adjusting for you, and you now have the opportunity to make more money, but you also have to take on a new role. And let's see, so we talked about, and money and finances are kind of looped together. So if it's not that you are earning money from this job, maybe you work for yourself, which is totally possible the way that the spread is, and you might be there might be a little bit of confusion about when the money's coming in if you work for yourself. So if this is not connected to a job, it could be connected to that authoritative feeling, whatever has power over you, Aquarius. So if it's a person, you might be looping your money and your resources in with this person. If it's if it's really just success, if you're really goal oriented and it's not an actual thing that has authority over you, it is an idea. You're looping finances in with it. And what I'm going to urge you to do is maybe consider that they're two separate things, because you can earn money in lots of different ways. You could, people can give you money just because they enjoyed spending time with you. They can buy you presents. There's all kinds of ways of currency. It doesn't have to necessarily mean it's a check that's written to you that you cash in the bank. So if you break up that idea that you are paid specifically by services given or by products created, and you open it up to the fact that you can earn money in multiple ways, blessings come in lots of ways. It's all currency. It's all based on current and flow, that you might actually open up new possibilities of money or things coming into you. Just looking at it in a little different light, okay? All right, so now let's get to the love stuff. And we've got a really interesting line here. So right now, there's it's interesting because you might be traditional when it comes to love, and if you're not, there might be some, and I say that because there's crosses here, so that would mean love, church, marriage, that kind of thing. The reason why I'm questioning it is because a little bit further on there's the snake card, which is actually it counter indicates that there's success there. But what this might mean is that any kind of burden that's coming on, any kind of family ties, even if it's a financial burden, the finance cards are way far away. This might just be family burdens that come up. Anything that comes up, you just need to talk about to get through the confusion and shed the light on it. So if there is some burdening, if there is some overwhelm or expectations that aren't necessarily your own, but from your family or your community, they need to be talked about, and you can't just shut them off necessarily, because they're going to keep coming back. So if you confront them, if you reveal what's going on, then that can transform it, okay? But what's really showing is that you've got a lot of blessings and a lot of luck surrounding your heart, surrounding your love. And if this is an ongoing connection, if this is something where you are in fact married, this is a really blessed union. And even though there might be people who have doubted it, it doesn't matter. It's moved forward because the two of you are strong. If it's something where it's, this is not, you're not in union yet, what I'm actually seeing is that there's the potential for not only this union that's going to be sweet in the beginning, but again, there's those finance cards. So there could be, there could be spending, but what I'm really seeing is that it's blessings. So there's going to be there's an abundance. And what it could mean also is that there can be an abundance of weight from this authoritative figure. This person, it could also be an Aries, that kind of has that feeling, that card has that feeling. So there might be an expectation of making a long-term commitment right away. And if this is not what you want, there needs to be conversation about it, about, if you need to make it a new thing or not. But what I'm feeling is that it's actually quite beautiful, the way that it's unfolding for you, Aquarius. So if you're not in relationship, what it's looking like is that there's one coming for you, that you're feeling really good. And especially if you're feeling really good, then relationship will come because it steps up to your energy. So there's a new beginning for a relationship, or there is a new relationship coming that is abundant, and it's abundant maybe with some structure, maybe with some overbearing structure, I guess I would say. But what I'm feeling about it is that it's, there's a contract, there's a commitment that's being made, and this is maybe stepping forward in a traditional way. We talked about that a little earlier. So maybe this is a more traditional setting than you ever expected. Aquarius, this could mean that there's an engagement that's coming and you never thought you were someone who would be engaged. You never thought that someone would offer to marry you, maybe even this soon. So it's that kind of, bearing is what I mean, is that, there's a weight to it, but it's a serious weight to consider. And this is a serious consideration. This is marriage. This is commitment. This is long-term. If it's not marriage, it's on its way too. So that would mean moving in together, signing a lease together, or signing. I mean, normally when I see these two cards together, this does portend a marriage. It's something that will take some time to develop. So maybe you have the engagement, but the actual signing of the papers comes later on. But this is a really interesting and beautiful layout, actually. I really like the journey from the heart to the ring here, despite the fact that this bear is here being, overbearing and being a little bit weighty. Again, this could also mean in-laws or parents, so there could be some finances that are connected to that. Now, if we were talking about dowry, that's what I would think. It would be something connected to a dowry. So, but it could be finances, but it can just be an abundance of love and things that are coming forward. So it's really quite beautiful. This is a great line for you, Aquarius, and that's what I'm seeing. So feeling good in your home life. There's a little bit of nervousness coming up. Maybe you need to just address or take a look at your mortgage, or take a look at your lease to make sure that the terms are what you like. Health-wise, you might have come from a place of feeling a little nervous, a little anxious. Maybe there's some anxiety that you're kind of dealing with and you have been dealing with. So you might have made some changes, but really feel into your deepest sense of intuitive power, whichever type of intuition you draw in. If it's physical, if it's hearing, if it's sight, there's different types of empathic natures. And as far as work goes, it looks like money is on your mind. You might be recognized at work and have been given a promotion recently. There was a lot of change that just happened, and what's looking like in the moving forward, is that there is an opportunity to shine. And ultimately, here's our love line. So our love is looking really good. If it's a current relationship, it is blessed, and it might be settling down for marriage. If it's if you're not married already. If you are married, you might be revisiting that, looking at how you two can grow your lives together. Maybe doing what is it when you do new. Well, just kind of recommitting. That's it. Recommitment ceremony. And if you're not in relationship, this is looking really good for drawing one in, because you're in this beautiful place of loving. Your heart space is wide open, and you have an abundance here. There might be some traditional, maybe a little bit heavy expectations coming forward, but I think you're going to smooth right over those and move on to something deeper and greater and much more magical than perhaps you had expected. So Aquarius, that's what I have for you. It's a beautiful reading. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Give a thumbs up if you are appreciative of it. And if you want to do your own reading, that information is in the box. My website's there in the box below. For now, I'll say goodbye, and I'll see you all soon.